He drove celebrities around for 9 years. No headlines, no scandals. Just a black SUV, press suits, and silence. He was the kind of guy you never noticed. And that's exactly how he liked it. But everything changed the day federal agents asked about a house in the hills, a place Justin Bieber rented in late 2016. For the first time ever, his voice shook. His name was redacted in the report. His job? Private driver, on-call transport for Subject B, Justin Bieber. Then came the quote that sent chills down investigators' spines. There was a basement and a tape. I was told to never ask about either. This wasn't paranoia, it was protocol. From the outside, the house looked like any other $30 million Beverly Hills rental. Infinity pool, stone entry, a garage built to keep paparazzi guessing. But what made it different was the floor plan. The blueprint showed 3 levels, but the elevator, it had 4 buttons. One of them was unmarked. He only noticed when he helped carry in 2 heavy duffel bags for a late-night session. He pressed G, but the elevator dipped lower than ground level. The doors opened. Dark concrete, no lights, just a hallway lined in thick red insulation foam. He stepped out, only for a second, before a man in a black hoodie grabbed his shoulder. "Wrong floor. You don't work down here." Back upstairs, still shaken, the driver whispered to the head of security, "What's on the extra level?" No answer, just a sealed envelope. Inside, $4,000 in cash, a burner phone, and a handwritten note. "You didn't see a 4th floor? You don't talk about the tape?" He asked, "What tape?" The guard didn't blink. The driver was on call every day that week. Same routine, studio runs, press stops, a random Krispy Kreme pickup at 2 a.m. Just another celebrity week, but Thursday, something was off. No one came out of the house. No lights, no movement. Security just said, "He's not taking calls." Day 2, same silence. Day 3, the same, until 4:13 a.m. That's when the back door finally creaked open. Justin walked out, barefoot, expression blank, like sleepwalking through a nightmare. He slid into the SUV, sat in the back, and said one thing, "Drive to the overlook." They didn't speak the entire ride. Once they parked, Justin leaned forward and whispered, "What's the last thing you remember?" The driver chuckled awkwardly, confused, but Justin didn't smile. "Because I remember nothing, but I keep waking up with messages. I don't remember writing." The driver never saw the tape, but he heard 2 seconds of it, by mistake. One night, waiting in the garage, a bag fell open. Inside, a mini cassette recorder, unlabeled. Curious, he pressed play. Static. Then a voice, warped, familiar. "You don't exist unless we say you do." Then, silence, and the recorder powered off, on its own. A moment later, a man in a hoodie walked past the car. He tapped the window once. "Put it back, or you won't remember how you got here." When investigators asked the driver why he was finally speaking out, he didn't say a word. He just pulled a folded note from his wallet, crumpled, water-stained. "I found it on the passenger seat the day Justin left for London," he said. The note read, "They'll call it a breakdown. They'll say I was tired, but that house rewired me. If they find this, burn it. Signed, J.B." And just a reminder, every deleted tweet, every fake statement, every carefully worded PR cover-up takes hours to unmask. If you want this channel to keep digging where no one else will, tap the join button, because we're not stopping. Let's go back to the house. When it was first listed in 2016, online specs clearly stated 3 floors, but the lease, signed by Justin Bieber's Rental LLC, told a different story. On page 9, a footnote, "Access to level 1 via secured internal elevator, permitted for creative calibration use only." No one explained what that meant. The landlord wouldn't talk. Bieber's team never asked. But 2 months into his stay, something happened. A delivery guy, half asleep, forgot to close the elevator. And a guest, a 19-year-old influencer, listed as Emily in court documents, took the ride down. She didn't come back. 5 hours later, she was found, barefoot, wandering Sunset Boulevard. Mumbling. The mirrors blinked. but I didn't. Federal agents managed to recover one file, a corrupted hard drive pulled from a Pulse-labeled case in the basement. Footage time-stamped 3:12 a.m. The screen is static, 4 seconds. Then it flickers on. Not a baby room, not a lounge, just a mirror, perfectly centered across from a leather chair. Behind it, a faint red glow. No movement, no sound. Just the distorted sound of breathing and a reflection, someone sitting there. Except the chair is empty. Emily later recalled 3 things: a red door, a makeup bag she didn't bring, and a phrase she heard playing over the wall again and again. He isn't real until we rewind him. She was hospitalized for 2 weeks. The diagnosis, dissociative fatigue. When asked where she'd been, she said, "They said I was glam, but I wasn't. They were copying my pauses." One file buried in a Pulse Creative server offered a clue. Mirrored calibration chamber, used to map emotional latency in celebrities and surrounding figures. Purpose, extract expressions during unscripted vulnerability. Store, refine, reassign. The project had a name, ECHO. Justin was listed as Vessel Tier 2. One disturbing line stood out in the leaked documents. If he resists guidance, use adjacent proximity subjects. Reflection triggers still work. He responds best to mirrored fear. Plain English? They didn't control him with orders. They used fear, not his own, but the fear of others. Trapped in mirrors, trapped on tape, and it worked. Records show Emily had appeared 6 months earlier at a Gomez-affiliated video shoot. She never spoke publicly, but a friend once said she would rehearse lines in the mirror until her reflection matched the script. Here's what they never said. Emily wasn't invited to Justin's rental. She was sent. The same day she was hospitalized, Justin told his manager, "It's not the fame, it's not the pressure, it's the silence," after they leave. That night, he snapped a photo of the elevator panel, posted it privately on Snapchat, just for 10 seconds. The caption, 3 buttons, 4 stories. Then he deleted the app. Emily walked out barefoot, but her voice, it stayed in that house. And the mirror, it still blinked, even when no one was watching. February 2019, a high-level executive at a major streaming platform gets a direct message. The sender, a former audio consultant. The subject line, unseen footage. Bieber, hotter tea. Attached, a video file. Tape room, edit V2. .mov and NDA already filled out. Cash request, $2.3 million. Exclusive rights. The file was flagged, then buried. But 2 years later, it was leaked to federal investigators. With a single note from the exec who watched the sample, "I've never seen someone cry like they were being edited in real time." Timestamp, Oro, Cairo. The screen goes black, then it flickers. A single camera, one man in the frame. Presumed to be Justin Bieber. Head down, no sound. Then he looks up. His lips move, but the audio lags. It's his voice, but it doesn't sync, like it's playing from a memory, not his mouth. "I don't remember agreeing, but they told me I signed it." Then he whispers, "There were no cameras, just mirrors. I could see myself blink before I felt it." Cut to black, end of clip. The sender's alias, Axiom 9 IP traced back to a defunct Pulse Media Retrieval Services site, now dark. Forensic analysis showed the sender had access to 6 encrypted folders, all tied to Subject B, folder names, Chapter T, Tatra Perfit's Echo Vault tapes, and one simply called Reconstruct 2 be inside that folder. Loopable versions of Justin's past interviews, AI-assisted mimic audio. In 3 formats, a file labeled Soft Dissolve, Josh Basement, Sample, Raw Motion, Pre-Edit. This wasn't about exposing a secret. This was about packaging it, controlling the narrative, selling the trauma, reframed. The producer, listed as WP, testified privately in 2025. "I thought it was just an unauthorized docuseries until I played it." He said something was wrong with Justin's face, like it wasn't reacting to his own voice. When he heard the line, The mirrors blinked before I did. He felt sick. Physically, he shut it off. It didn't feel like a memory, he said. It felt like the moment he was being rewritten. After internal review, the legal team sent an emergency cease order, not to protect Justin, to protect themselves. Their internal memo read, "Risk material contains unauthorized neuroconditioning elements. Viewer responses include disassociation, nausea, mimicry behaviors." Yes, the footage itself was reportedly coded to trigger viewer reactions. A file not just meant to document trauma, but to extend it. In 2022, during a live stream, a fan asked Justin about any weird stories from old studio days. He laughed, nervously. Then he said, "I used to think I just forgot stuff, but now I think someone else remembered it for me and left me with the pieces. No warning, no goodbye, just static." Then what? A flash of red light reflected on his screen. Less than a second. The tape? It wasn't just evidence. It was a blueprint, a looped file, designed to be forgotten by him and remembered by the ones who made it. The therapist's office was in Westwood. Sessions ran February through May 2017. Client B, male, early 20s, high-stress entertainment career, reported symptom, chronological dissonance. Translation? He remembered doing things, but not being the version of himself who did them. Session 2. "I saw the signature. It's mine, but I don't remember holding the pen." Session 5. "They say I agreed to the footage, but I don't think that version of me exists anymore." When asked to explain, he said, "There are gaps, and in the gaps, I feel watched." According to leaked pulse notes recovered in 2024, Client B wasn't just in therapy. He was undergoing something else: reconstruction trials, a covert conditioning program for high-profile figures starting to fracture under public dissonance. Key goal: unify memory streams, reintroduce confidence via reverse authorship. In simple terms, he had to believe the choices were always his. If Justin was breaking down, they didn't stop it. They just tried to patch the cracks with false clarity. In one session, a therapist reportedly told him, "You've always been in control." He snapped, "Don't say that. That's what the wall said. That's what the mirror said." Later, it was discovered his sessions involved footage of himself, edited to sound more confident, subtle affirmations layered underneath, "You chose this." AI-simulated interview replays, rewritten to erase contradictions. Each session ended with the same question: "Do you recognize yourself today?" Only one answer was acceptable: yes. But in 2017, Justin tried to terminate a long-standing publishing contract. His legal team told him, "You already resigned." Back in 2016, he asked for proof. They sent the scanned contract. He stared at it for a long time, then said, "That's my name, but I didn't write that." Two things stood out. One, the loop on the J, a style he hadn't used since 2013. Two, the signature was slightly right-aligned, a tick his hand therapist had corrected in 2015. Handwriting experts confirmed it was authentic, but Justin wasn't questioning the hand. He was questioning the mind behind it. Then came the clause, "Subject agrees to perpetual likeness usage across all formats, including reconstructed footage or perceptual audio, whether generated directly or via simulation." Reconstructed footage, perceptual audio, in 2016. This wasn't a record deal. It was a future-proof blueprint to use his voice, his face, even his perceived decisions, even if he no longer believed he made them. Therapy notes later revealed chilling lines. Subject expresses deep distrust in own chronology, repeats, "They rewrote the real, not me," and "I think I've been replaced by a version that smiles too quickly." He didn't lose control. They just made a version of him that looked like he had it and convinced the world that was the real one. The invoice came from a boutique interior design firm in Malibu. Dated November 2016. Custom one-way glass mirror, integrated ambient lighting, neural response tracking. Client, JB, installation, master bedroom. On the outside, it looked like a luxury mirror, but inside, directional microphones, a thermal pulse reader, and a silent lens hidden in the top right corner, all connected wirelessly to a server labeled Echo Feedback 17F18. JB. Justin had no idea. The mirror? It was a gift, installed by a wellness rep posing as a design consultant, part of a glam lifestyle initiative, linked to Oriel Studios, a grooming and celebrity alignment agency under Pulse Media. Their mission: subconscious narrative reinforcement through ambient surveillance. Translation: record the subject's unfiltered self, especially during sleep, dissociation, or anxiety, and use that data to manipulate public-facing behavior. By December 2016, Justin began making offhand comments. "I feel watched, even when I'm alone. Sometimes I sleep and wake up with a sentence in my mouth, like it was whispered to me in a dream." He told a bodyguard once, "I had a nightmare where I was talking, but the words weren't mine. They were lines from interviews I never gave." A leaked Pulse document titled Echo Reflector Chakra Analysis JB described the breakthrough. Subject exhibits neural echo patterning. Sleep speech aligns with pre-recorded memory assets. In other words, the mirror wasn't just recording, it was responding. Using AI-generated voice prompts, it would replay old interviews, lyrics, affirmations, at low volume during REM cycles. One section read, "Dreams as dialogue, conditioning through echoed self." A technician who maintained the glam mirror system came forward in 2025. His words, "That wasn't a mirror, that was a chamber. I synced the logs one day and saw it had recorded 200 nano-sleep sessions, each one tagged with emotional reactivity markers. They knew when he cried, they knew when he felt relief, and they knew the exact moment the voice finally believed what it said." During a quiet moment on Instagram Live, a fan asked, "Do you still have nightmares?" Justin paused, then said, "Sometimes I dream about interviews I never gave, and I wake up." Already halfway into his next sentence, the stream froze. When it resumed, he had deleted the last 2 minutes. The Echo Feedback 17JB server was seized during the Pulse investigation. Inside 113 hours of sleep footage, 8 flagged REM cycles labeled emotional alignment success, dozens of mirrored phrases, later repeated verbatim in public interviews. One phrase, "I'm grateful to be here, to be heard, to be better." It appeared nowhere in his press training documents, but the mirror played it 46 times between January and March 2017. He thought he was being watched. He was. But worse, the mirror was listening and whispering back who he was supposed to become. It was never meant to be heard. A studio session in April 2018. Recording paused. Lights dimmed. Justin alone in the booth. But the device kept rolling. First it was his voice. 30 seconds in, another voice responded. Same tone, same breath, but clipped, smiling when it shouldn't be. Justin, "You think you're me?" Voice, "I'm the version that smiles when asked. You're the one they keep in the quiet places." The engineer returned. Justin was still in the booth, frozen. He wasn't singing, wasn't talking, just watching his reflection. "You ready to go again?" No answer. He whispered, "I think we're both tired, but only one of us gets to leave." The session ended early. Over the years, he left breadcrumbs in interviews, in posts, in songs. There's a version of me that performs and a version that watches. It's weird hearing your own voice tell you what to do. I'm not crazy, I'm just crowded. One day before a private show, he was alone in his dressing room. Floor-length mirror, no one else inside. An assistant walked in and froze. Justin was facing the mirror, speaking slowly, repetitively. "Which one of us made it out? Who signed the deal? Was it you or me?" He finally noticed her, smiled softly. "Don't worry, it's just rehearsal for whoever shows up today." She quit the job that week. The leaked mirror chat audio was reviewed by 2 independent labs. Results: Both voices were Bieber's, but with different emotional resonance scores. One spiked in confidence, the other in dissociation and fatigue. Not schizophrenia, scripted fracture, a controlled dual persona, shaped by performance and suggestion. One lab called it synthetic echo divergence. Found on hotel stationery after a European tour stop. I wake up and wonder if today's version of me will get it right, or if the other one will, or if they're just going to splice us together again. At the bottom of the page, a torn edge, but faintly in pencil. I think he wants out, and I don't blame him. Recovered from his phone in 2022. A 12-second voice memo, never released. I missed the silence, before they started looping me, before the other voice got so good at pretending it was me. Maybe one day I'll meet him, and maybe we'll both leave. There weren't two versions of him by choice. There were two by design, one to be seen and one to survive.